A lot of people are talking about what they're excited for or what they're dreading with the release of Yashahime, so I thought I'd take a moment to talk about what made Inuyasha so special and what I'm hoping to see in its sequel. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Inuyasha and Yashahime content. I do release daily videos, so make sure you hit the bell to guarantee you won't miss them. With that being said, let's talk about Inuyasha. The manga began its serialization in 1996, with the first episode of the anime airing in 2000. And yes, I am realizing this technically makes Inuyasha not a 90s anime, and it has proven to me that everything I know is a lie. Regardless though, this was a period where most fans of shonen manga and anime were enjoying series like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and Bleach. And while those series definitely have their own specialness, there was always just something about Inuyasha that stood out to me. And let's be real, to my stupid 12-year-old boy brain, at the end of the day, I just looked at this series and thought, haha, flashing lights and fight scenes, look how cool that sword is. But even then, there was something about Inuyasha that always made it more interesting to me than other shonen of its time. I'm not saying it's better than any of them. I definitely think as a whole, series like One Piece and Naruto, and for sure Full Metal Alchemist, which would air only 3 years later, are definitely objectively of a higher quality. But despite this, like I said, Inuyasha always just seemed special. There was something so interesting about it and it just drew you in. It wouldn't be until last year when I rewatched the series that I realized what that was. It was the characters. Yes, Naruto has characters like Gaara, Itachi, and the boy himself, who are all great characters in their own right. We see so much development in all of them. But Inuyasha's characters just felt so human. And don't worry, the irony isn't lost on me. I remember the exact moment that it clicked for me though. It was shortly after Sango joined the group. It was just this simple scene where everyone was sitting down and having a picnic together. And even though nothing was really happening, I loved it. It was the dialogue and how the characters talked and interacted that just made them feel like real people, more so than Itachi or Naruto ever did or ever could. And beyond this, there was never a chosen one feeling. The characters were all fantastical, but they were doing so without being larger than life, and it was super refreshing. We weren't watching a Jinchuriki or the first Super Saiyan. We were watching a slightly above average half-demon, a girl who inherited some sacred powers that were never really overpowered beyond anything around her, a monk who had a black hole in his hand and who had been cursed to be living on a clock as a result, and a demon slayer who lost her family to a demon. And Shippo was also there to be cute and comic relief, but you kinda need that sort of thing. And yes, all of them together are incredibly powerful, but on their own, are they really? Inuyasha without his sword is just kind of okay, and even with it, he still struggles in most fights. In most cases, it just brings him up to par with his enemies, and most of those enemies have jewel shards, which definitely slant things against him, which is why we see his character growing and developing and learning new sword techniques along the way. He's always playing catch-up instead of being miles ahead, and that felt great. Even in secondary characters like Kagura, we have these amazing stories being told, and most importantly, just about every relevant character has real motivation, real stakes, and real development through the story. And I think that's the biggest strength of Inuyasha. So what I want to see in Yashahime is for character writing and dialogue to be on par with what we've seen. Then we have the world building. Let's be real, Inuyasha's world building on a physical sense is pretty limited. We know a few specific locations, but not really how they line up with one another. But what Inuyasha does have is amazing history building and storytelling. We might not know where things are, but we always know where something is coming from, and most of it is used in a thematic way which ties everything together. For example, Midoriko was a priestess who created the Shikon Jewel when a man who was in love with her fused with demons so that he could have a chance with her, and he ended up being absorbed by them. Then 500 years later, a priestess named Kikyo had the jewel and a man named Onigumo was in love with her, fused with demons to become Naraku. This time the human remained intact in some way, however the demons still attacked the priestess, and the jewel would be burned with her body. And then again, 500 years later, we see Kagome being born, where she travels to the past, meets Inuyasha, a demon who wants to become a full demon, much like how Onigumo had sacrificed himself to become a demon, and of course she brings the jewel back into the world. It's this perfect mirroring of events from the past, and it's this great storytelling, so I would love to see that kind of attention to history and parallels being involved in Yashahime as well. Now I don't want to ask for too much, because honestly I'm just happy to be getting anything. But finally, I would love for the show to have music on par with Inuyasha. Say what you want about the series, the fillers, how drawn out it is, but the music in Inuyasha was top tier. It could make you sad, hyped, or happy at a moment's notice. Like, just listen to the first few seconds of Naraku's theme, and tell me you don't feel this evil oozing out of the notes. The atmosphere that the music could produce in Inuyasha has always been so amazing to me, and I'm really hoping we get similar things in the sequel. But yeah, these are the 3 things that I want to see in Yashahime. What are you guys looking for in the new series? And do you agree with my perspectives? Let me know in the comments down below, and remember to leave a like and subscribe for more daily Inuyasha and Yashahime content. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to stay excellent.